Hi guys and welcome to yet another devcast. Yesterday I released the Voxelizer as I mentioned on my LinkedIn and probably on Reddit as well. It was something that I did as a part of the Machina framework, but it got some traction and you were writing to me that you would be interested in having the Voxelizer as a separate uh, tool. So I decided to get it out of Machina, to decouple it and to release it as a separate tool. And I also implemented a rendering part because in Machina the voxel rendering using an instancing and again the compute shaders wasn't part of Machina framework. So I just basically used part of Machina and part of my instanced renderer. So today I will do just a quick video how to use it. So let's start. I installed it using a package manager. It's if you go to the GitHub, it will be as a link in the YouTube video. You will see how to install the package, and then it will be inside your packages, so you can use it directly instead of just getting the GitHub repository. So I have these two models from Bitgam. I use them for presentation purposes. It's not part of the package, but it's a Bitgam, and especially, for example, stuff from Synthes is very good to play with and voxelize. I did a lot of them. So let's create a game object called Voxelizer. And there are two parts of the tool. One of them is the voxelizer, which is the part that will calculate the voxelated geo or the point cloud or how to call it. It's a binary tree basically, but you can export it to Unity Mesh as well. The instance rendering doesn't use mesh data, so by default the voxelization doesn't happen into a triangulated mesh. It happens to basically to have a native array of points and colors, which is then rendered using the instanced renderer. So that's the first part, and the second part is the voxel renderer, as I mentioned, which is very similar to my instance renderer. It's just specifically updated for voxels, and it supports scaling as well. So you need to assign a material. By default, Unity doesn't support picking up materials from packages, so you can create your own material and use the shader from the voxelizer, but you can just go down to the voxelizer package and just drag it here. And now you need to assign a mesh renderer, which will be and take the mesh filter on the renderer as an input for the voxelizer to work with. So I can take the fence. Now this mesh will be taken as an input for the voxelizer. Auto voxelize means that it will automatically voxelize if you change some parameters here. Not going to do that now. And this is the density type because you have two parameters. One is an nm from the density type, and the second one is the actual density. I will just update the UI as well in later versions. So basically, what's the metric used for the density? So max dimension means that it will calculate which is the maximum dimension, which is probably height or width in this asset, and then one voxel will be 1/20th of that maximum dimension. You can specify width, height, depth, all three dimensions, or a diagonal. So it will basically calculate from the diagonal. Let's go with the max dimension, and then you can specify the density. You can specify if you want to generate the Unity mesh. There are additional things happening in the background, like the type of voxelization, so on. I didn't make it transparent in the UI yet, so it's using the fastest voxelization, which is not always optimal for all the things you want to achieve, but it will be addressed in later versions. And now you can voxelize, so it will generate the voxelized data, and since we have a renderer, it will automatically render them. The renderer is kind of complicated at the moment because it's already have a lot of optimizations for multi-objects, voxel rendering, and so on. I will decouple it, so there will be two renderers. One will be for complex scenes, and one will be if you just want to render this single object, and it will be on a single game object instance. Both of them have their specific usages. This is just initial release, so you can play with the voxelized data, and if you want to like try your artwork and so on. So you can change the voxelization as well. So there, like that. Sometimes Unity doesn't change, or the object will basically disappear. Uh, I am working on it with some of the Unity engineers. There are some serialization issues because I'm converting serialized data into native containers or so on. It may be some problem on my side, but I'm investigating it. So if it just basically disappears, you need to disable and enable it and revoxelize the mesh. If you encounter any other issues, just let me know. So you can play with that. I can also change the input, and now we are voxelizing the second second mesh. If I want to generate the Unity mesh, it will get generated as an additional object with simple mesh filter, so you don't see it. It doesn't have its own renderer, but you can, if you have export the FBX package installed, you can export it to I don't have it installed. You can basically use this to export it to your third party software as a voxelite triangulated mesh. If, as usual, any feedback is welcome, and if you have any more questions or if you encounter any issues, let me know, and thank you.